of Piatt-DeWitt counties. Remember, ServPro of Piatt-DeWitt counties for fire and water restoration, reconstruction, and now duct cleaning to keep your air healthy. Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time is 8 minutes after 8 o'clock here on this Monday. Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence, from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The DeWitt County Board will reshuffle tonight and swear in 2 new board members. Outgoing DeWitt County Board Chair Dan Matthews indicates the board has wrapped up the budget process and approved it. Now it's on to bringing on those new board members and establishing new leadership.
The last official meeting of this fiscal year is actually tonight. We have to approve the final budget tonight, and then the board will actually have a special meeting on December 2nd. And as you said, 2 new board members, Chris Hammer and Rob Walters, coming in, replacing myself and Brian Riddle for the next. They'll have 4-year terms, along with 6 other board members that were 4 other board members that were reelected in November. And so they'll meet on the 2nd. They'll vote for new chairman, vice chair, set up the new committees. So they'll have a lot to do and see who is going to be the next chairman.
Matthews is the Clinton Board of Education president and works with incoming board member Chris Hammer. Rob Walters will also be sworn in tonight as well.
The 2 guys that are coming on, I know Chris very well as far as serving on other boards with him, and I know he'll do a good job for the county, and I've heard nothing but good things about Rob as well. So, I look forward to them, and having some new faces and fresh ideas on there is always good. I've seen that with the new board members that came on just 2 years ago as well. So I think it's good to get new people on the board instead of the same people year after year doing a good job. But, new ideas are always welcome, and things change quickly. So I think the board will be in good hands with our new people, and look forward to seeing who's going to be the next chairman of DeWitt County Board.
Matthews helped lead the county through the sale of the Clinton Lake Marina and says he will remain on the Board of Education despite stepping away from the county board. A local veterans group is doing everything it can to combat the homeless veterans epidemic. Josh Thielen is the department adjutant for the American Legion and explains, as the winter months approach and temperatures drop, it's important for members of the community to do everything they can to lend a hand to the homeless.
There is so much information out there for homeless veterans that even in recent time, I'm starting to learn and figure out and find out about. And I've been the service officer for our post for a few years. But as we get into the winter months, and we know that there's homeless veterans, we know there's just homeless in general. It's such I want to say it's more of a pandemic than anything else. It's unfortunate circumstances that have put some of them there. It's unfortunate situations, whether it's personal issues or just bad luck. There's really no reason that we can't help each other get out of those situations and help provide them with that information when it's available.
Often veterans come home from the military and have nowhere to go. Thielen states what life will be like at home doesn't always cross the mind of a veteran before they're already back.
When you think about it on the veteran side, as an active duty military member, he's finishing up that 4 years, and he says, you know what, I'm done. I just can't do the military anymore. I got to get out. Maybe he had rough family life beforehand, doesn't really have anybody to come home to. Mm-hmm. He decides he's done. He gets out, and now he's got no home, nowhere to go, and he's not sure who to talk to. Mm-hmm. He's not sure about all the resources that are out there because he didn't. It's not a thought that really came across when he was planning on getting out.
Right.
We don't really think about, well, do I have a house to go back to? Can I go back with my family? What kind of situation am I going to be in when I get out of the military? Mm-hmm.
Thielen also notes multiple free and confidential resources like the Homeless Veterans Hotline are available and says most of these situations are temporary.
One of the best ones that I've got is to call 1-877-424-3838. That is the national call center for homeless veterans.
Okay.
It is free and confidential, trained VA counselors. So not only do they have the capability of helping you with the homeless situation, but they can also help you. Maybe you have a VA claim or you have something else. They can help get you those kind of guidelines that might help get you some extra income too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great tool if you're really just needing some information or a counselor to help you get through a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these situations are temporary if you're willing to put in the effort to get out of it. There's a lot of people out there who are probably really needing the help and they're not sure where to go. Mm-hmm. In extreme cases, you lose your job, you lose your family, you lose, just everything seems to crumble around you and you just don't know where to go. Yep. Now we're sitting in two situations. One, you're looking at homelessness. Mm-hmm. So call 877-424-3838. Get that help on the homeless side. So another thing that we start to see with veterans as they face homelessness is suicide. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a rough situation to be in. Call 988 if you are, and that goes for anybody.
Learn more about all the resources available by calling the Clinton American Legion at 935-5183 or stop into their office at 219 North Elizabeth Street in Clinton. Schools across the state are receiving grades from the Illinois State Board of Education's school report cards. Adam Clapp is the superintendent of Monticello Schools and explains they've always scored high during this time of the year, and that trend continued on this year's report card.
Yeah, so, historically we always score high on our school report card data. Our test scores are relatively high when you look over the last several years. We continue to trend well with our scores, and I would like to, point out, like this year, especially at our middle school, we've continued to be in the top 2 or 3 with our comparable schools and on the English side of our testing. And this year we had a jump in our math scores, which was great too at the middle school. And I would just say that's a testament to some of the things we've been implementing and our teachers doing an awesome job. And at the end of the day, our kids, we have great kids here, great kids and great families that are supportive of the school system, and they do a great job with our standardized testing. And we also had a big jump in our 5th grade math scores this past year too. So I think we implemented a new math curriculum 2 years ago, and so we're going to see those scores continue to creep up. We would like it to all be, closer to that 70-80% proficiency immediately, but we know it's a process.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we have been talking about as an admin team and within our buildings is across the state, we're kind of looking at this chronic absenteeism issue.
Like many schools, Clapp says since the pandemic, Monticello has struggled to get students to come to school, whether those absences are excused or unexcused.
Since COVID, we've seen an uptick in absences. Mm-hmm. When you start really breaking it down, if you're missing 10 days of school, that's 2 weeks of instruction that, yes, you can play catch up with Google Classroom, and there's some resources that are out there that can help you catch up quickly when you're absent, but nothing replaces that in-person instruction. So, we're working with students and staff to better meet those needs as well.
Monticello administration and staff will get together after receiving data to figure out how to continue to grow. Clapp notes he never wants to become complacent.
Overall, we're happy with how we scored on our IAR and our SAT. I think the one thing for us is to never get complacent. So as soon as those report cards come out, we sit down as an admin team and get with our buildings and take a look at where we scored well and where we fell a little bit short, and then continue those discussions throughout the year of how we can get better. Yeah. And I think the main thing to also note is a standardized test is one snapshot in time. So I think the big thing for us is we've always said when Monticello seniors walk across the stage of graduation, we feel that we have the best advantages when they go into their next step of life, whether it's college or their career. And we put out a very good product in our school district. When our students graduate, we feel we provided them the most well-rounded education process in terms of their experiences in the classroom, in the fine arts, and in extracurriculars. So we try to focus on improving test scores, but at the same time, not losing focus on educating our whole student and things of that nature.
According to CLAP, the report card system the State Board of Education uses is very complicated and takes a lot of factors into play when giving schools their grades. Are you looking for a children's book recommendation involving ag for a Christmas stocking stuffer? Illinois Ag in the Classroom's Kevin Doherty has all kinds of recommendations.
The Soil in Jackie's Garden. It's by Peggy Thomas, and Peggy is one of our favorite. I'm going to say this about a number of them, but we love Peggy Thomas. She's written several books. About 10 years ago, she wrote a book called Farmer George Plants a Nation about George Washington. She'd visited Mount Vernon, and she had no idea that Washington was a farmer. And then she did some research because she's written a ton of books, and she found out that nobody had written a book about Washington being a farmer. And she wrote it, and we discovered it, and we had her speak at our national conference. We've had her speak to our coordinators. And I'm like, Jefferson was a farmer, and Lincoln did a lot of stuff with agriculture, and that's where she wrote those others. And several years ago, I told her we needed some soil books. Hard to find a good soil book, hard to write about dirt, but she wrote this one called The Soil in Jackie's Garden. It highlights gardening, composting, and soil. Going to be for sale at annual meeting. We just love Peggy Thomas.
Visit agintheclassroom.org. Under Teacher Resources, click on Book Recommendations. 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, time now for a look at this morning's obituaries. 87-year-old Joyce Long of Clinton passed away November 26th. Services for 87-year-old Joyce Long will be this morning at 11 a.m. at the Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton, with Ernie Harvey Jr. officiating. The burial will follow at Mausoleum Park Cemetery in Clinton. The visitation is from 10 to 11 a.m. this morning at the funeral home. Memorials can be directed to the Wounded Warrior Project. Get news anytime from your